So Sunak survives the Rwanda vote, but New Year's showdown with backbenchers could still scupper the bill. I'm going to read into this more from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from Sky News with the headline that Sunak has survived the Rwanda vote, but New Year's showdown with backbenchers could still scupper the bill. The Prime Minister has won a crunch vote on his Rwanda plan despite right-wing Conservative factions announcing that they could not back the emergency stop the boat legislation. So he survived the vote. It's I just feel like whatever was going to happen, like he's still going to fail in any way, shape, or form. I just don't see how this is going to happen. Still, I don't know. I mean, I've got the feeling that perhaps maybe they're just going to end up like, I don't know, breaking all international laws just to try and get this going. And I just feel like this whole thing is a major distraction. This is nothing but a major distraction from the major causes that are going on in the United Kingdom right now. We have, how many times have I talked about this, guys? Cost of living crisis, NHS crisis, crumbling schools, institutional racist police force, overcrowded prisons, brown rivers and seas. Damage to our environment is being scuppered. High energy bills. The list of problems are piling up and up and up. Homelessness. How long we don't even talk about homelessness enough here. Councils not getting enough funding. The amount of problems piling up on this government is extraordinary. And yet this is what the media wants to talk about. This is what the Conservatives want to talk about. This is what the be-all and end-all. It's immigrants, guys. And the thing is that people really need to understand this, okay? Because there is this perception that people have now that immigrants and migrants and asylum seekers, it's all because of them that their problems are happening. That is not the reason that these problems are happening, okay? The Conservatives have changed laws and made things more difficult for migrants to come here. They make the processing of asylum claims even longer because they cut the budgets for the civil servants, especially in the Home Office. So it means that it takes even longer to get them through. And the third and most important point is there is no legal routes for people who want to come and claim asylum legally. For those who want to come to the UK legally, there is no legal route for them to do so. So the only option is either coming across on the boats, or hiding under or trying to get through Calais, hiding under trucks, or any other methods that come to the UK, or stuff or stowing themselves on a plane or something like that. That's the problem. There's no legal routes for them. Yeah, there's no legal routes, and when people accuse them of being illegal migrants, well, what? There isn't such a thing as a term of illegal migration. It's a term that the right wing and the Conservative government made up to make it look like that all these people are bad. If they could come here legally, the vast majority would come here legally. But there is no legal route, and it's really important to emphasise that point. Now, Rwanda will not make an effing difference whatsoever to the numbers. Okay, so if you are one of those people who are paranoid about immigration numbers and high levels of migration, well, I've got some bad news for you. Not only is the Rwanda thing not going to work, because there's actually been reports of migrants. I've actually seen one or two videos online of videos of migrants on the other side in French and other places who plan to come to the UK. They were told and asked about Rwanda, and they said it's not going to change they're not going to, it doesn't matter to them. They're still going to try and come to the UK. So already, some who have been told about it, it's not going to stop them from coming. So it completely makes no point whatsoever. It's a complete waste of taxpayer money. So you're not stopping it whatsoever. I've heard people on certain radio phone-ins saying that they should punch holes in migrants' boats, no, that's inhumane because you're literally killing them. That shows just how immoral that you are as a person, if that's what your thinking is. So I would say, why would you want to murder them? Simply because they are of a different colour of skin or a different nationality? Like, are you going to stoop that low? Like, are you really that low of a person in life? Yeah, that you want to literally kill migrants just to stop them coming to the country? And anyone who keeps going on about we can't take any more migrants in, we could if we had changed our policies, yeah, and the change of laws. If the Conservatives hadn't done that, things would be a lot more different. You would not have had a tragedy of somebody potentially committing suicide on the barge that the story came out. You would not have these hotels and barges. By the way, we pay an absolute fortune, yeah, for that barge, which is ridiculous in comparison to what we're paying for hotels. It's a stupid amount of money. All these things would be handled much differently. Now, Labour are not perfect, rightly so, but they do have a plan to deal with these backlogs. And the Shadow Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, has made some very valid points. And you could also have a look at, and if you want to look at Labour's policies, you're more than welcome to do so on their website. But obviously, I'm not going to BS you guys. I don't trust Labour. I understand that, but I believe that they will handle the immigration a hell of a lot better than the last 13 years of Conservative rule, because they promised that the boats and the immigration numbers would go down when we left the EU, when Brexited. That's what we were supposed to get. Instead, it's gone up as well. So it's also going to make that point as well. By the way, we're wasting. There's a lot more money we're wasting on this bill than we know as well. Breaking international law. We're going to be breaking international law, guys. Our reputation as a world global power for international partners is all going to go away. All for this, guys. And it's not going to make a single difference to immigration. So the right-wing Tories have threatened to vote down emergency Rwanda deportation legislation in the new year if it is not tightened. Rishi Sunak avoided a damaging Tory rebellion on Tuesday night over his flagship Rwanda bill in a crunch vote in the Commons. The totemic legislation, which aims to revive the stalled 290 million deportation scheme after the government ruled it unlawful, was backed by MPs at its second reading by 313 votes to 270, a majority of 43. The result will come as a huge relief to the Prime Minister, who spent today holding crisis talks with various factions of the Tory right to persuade them to back the bill. The division list of 37 Tories abstained, but none voted against it, despite swathes of them trashing the legislation in recent days, and former Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick even resigning because he did not think it was tough enough. However, it means another battle is likely further down the line when the bill returns to the Commons next year, given the hardliners who abstained are demanding amendments to tighten the plans by blocking interference from foreign courts. Something moderates from the opposite wing have said they will not support. By the way, it was UK courts that blocked it, not foreign courts. Just very, very important that the original law was shot down by British courts, not foreign courts. Yeah, very important to make that distinction. The bill seeks to declare in UK law that Rwanda is a safe country to send asylum seekers to, and stop flights from being granted for legal reasons by allowing ministers to disapply sections of the UK Human Rights Act, not the European Convention of Human Rights, which some on the right are calling for. So, and again, very important to make this distinction that even though the UK law is declaring that Rwanda is a safe country, Rwanda is not a safe country for immigrants and refugees. Very important to make that distinction. If you were to set out something like this with Canada, the UK courts would not have an issue with this whatsoever, because Canada is a safe country. Some of you guys probably watching this have actually either lived in Canada or been there for holiday. I would say that if you were to do something like that, that would be a lot different. But Rwanda has been deemed numerous occasions of breaching human rights laws, guys. But obviously, yeah, some of you honestly don't care about the well-being of others because you think here that we have a overcrowded situation here. But you know, you want to show your morals. That's your choice. But moments before MPs started voting, dozens of Tory hardliners from the so-called Five Family faction said they did not support the plan, and the bulk of them would abstain tonight. They said they would aim to table amendments in the new year, which should materially improve the bill and remove some of its weakness, and warned that they could vote down the legislation at its third reading if changes are not made. Bill goes straight to the edge of what's acceptable. That means Mr Sunak could face a fight on his hands in January when the bill comes back before Parliament. Downing Street later said it was prepared to listen to proposed changes from MPs at a later stage, but the Home Secretary James cleverly suggested in the Commons that the legislation was already close to the limits of what would be possible. The One Nation caucus of around 100 moderate MPs have also said they won't support the bill if it becomes more hardline. Damien Green, the chairman of the group, told Sky News that the legislation currently goes to the very edge of what is acceptable in terms of meeting our international obligations and the rule of law. And he said he wanted the legislation to proceed unamended and that the factions would only accept very minor changes. Rwanda has also told the UK government it will withdraw from the treaty if it was to breach its international obligations. So this is the thing, guys. So even if they pushed this through and breaking international law, Rwanda will not take any refugees in because they're not going prepared to break international law. Despite the fact that they have broken human rights laws in Rwanda, they're not prepared to break international obligations. So again, and just to make that point again, where's the logic behind this? If you can make the square fit into the round hole in the comment section, I'm interested to hear. But however, Tory rebels remain firm in their position after the vote, with a source saying this bill has been allowed to live another day, but without amendments it will be killed next month. It's now up to the government to decide what to do next. So Bev Freebury has stated that his authority stretched to snapping point. The Prime Minister and himself from Freefall on Tuesday night. All day there were whispers of it being on a knife edge and it might only scrape through. There is no doubt huge relief tonight in Downing Street as Rishi Sunak's Christmas nightmare turns into a Christmas surprise. The Prime Minister has won this battle, but the deeper civil war in the party over what to do about Rwanda will rage on. When it comes to who will triumph, all bets are off. Well, you can stop the boats. You can't stop the boats, Rishi. Despite a fresh row likely in the new year, ministers were buoyant by the result of the vote tonight. Given the government's working majority of 53, a revolt of by 29 Tory MPs, or 57 abstentions, it would have been required to defeat the bill at its first common hurdle, something that has not happened to a piece of legislation since 1986. So we could, if we wanted to, see who voted. So we can see how here. So the ayes were 313, the noes were 270, and 63 did not vote there on the plan to enable asylum seekers to be deported to Rwanda. There's a list here of those who said aye and who said no. The link will be for this in the description if you want to have a look at your local MP there on who said yes and who said no there. Pretty much, we'll just scroll through. Pretty much the vast majority obviously will be Conservative. Did anyone vote aye? Peter Bone had voted in favour of it. There's no vote recorded. Pretty much most, I think all of Labour. I'd be surprised if any Labour voted for it, but we'll just have a quick scroll. Yeah, the SNP, DUP. It looks like DUP's even voted no. Lib Dems voted no. Most Conservatives are voted in favour of it here, as we can see. But quickly scroll through there. But if you want to have a look for your own MP there, I'll put the link in the description. There appears to be nerves in Downing Street this morning, with Climate Change Minister Graham Stewart flying back from the large-scale talks at the COP28 summit in Dubai to vote for the legislation. That the outcome proved more comfortable than initially feared for Mrs Sunak. The Prime Minister wrote on X that we will now work to make the bill law so that we can get flights going to Rwanda and stop the boats. Again, guys, it's not going to stop the boats. Very important to make that comment. Labour said despite the victory, the situation showed the Conservative civil war is continuing. Shadow Home Secretary Vet Cooper says today's debate shows how weak Rishi Sunak is, with his Tory psychodrama now dragging on into the new year. The cost of the failing Rwanda scheme is apparently rising to £400 million of taxpayer money, while no one has been sent, and the scheme is likely to cover less than 1% of those arriving in the UK. So we are wasting now £400 million of taxpayer money. Think of where that money could be going elsewhere, guys. Yeah, imagine that £400 million helping you with your energy bills. Imagine that £400 million helping work on GP appointments. we're fixing our NHS. Imagine that £400 million being dealt with on crumbling schools that we have up and down the country, where your children are not in proper school buildings, or because there's not the money there to refurbish them. Imagine that £400 million used to deal with the police, institutional racist police force. So many other things that could be used for, guys, and we're wasting it on a scheme that will not work. They've broken the Tory party, broken the asylum system, and broken every promise that they've made to the British people. Britain deserves better than this. She called on the government to scrap the scheme and use the money to crack down on criminal gangs and reduce the asylum backlog, something that Labour has vowed to do if it wins the next election. Obviously, guys, I understand that some people will not trust Labour, and I don't blame them for feeling that way. But we've had 13 years of the same party, so I wouldn't mind something a little bit different. But you know, I've thrown West Streeting under a bus here with his comments recently as well. So don't think I'm a Labour person in any way, shape or form, because I'm not. So what do I think is going to happen? I don't know how he's going to get this through. And the thing is that even if the Lords are going to shoot this down, I know they're going to try and push their way through it as well, just to get this passed law. I just don't see it happening. I just feel like he's just buying himself more time at this point. The factions, they're all way too divided inside the Conservative Party. They are, honestly, I don't even think they know what they want. I think some of them want Boris Johnson back, which is bonkers. One or two want Liz Truss back, which is even more crazy. They don't know who to look to as a leader. Some have looked at Suella Braverman, but she's absolutely insane. And if she was to become Prime Minister, it would be absolutely detriment to the country, because we've already had Rishi Sunak, a Prime Minister we did not vote for. We had Liz Truss, a Prime Minister we did not vote for as well, and the Prime Minister that we did vote for decided to have parties while people died during COVID. So very important to make that highlighted there, guys. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind something a little bit different. So the sooner we have a general election, the better, because it feels like an eternity since we've last had a voice, and we really could do with one right now, guys. So what do you guys think? What do you think about the vote? Were you surprised it got through? Did you expect it to fail? Maybe you thought Sunak is going to be gone after tonight. Maybe he's going to get through this week. Maybe he'll survive. Maybe he'll survive up to the general election. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, but let me know what you guys think so far in the comment section down below. Hit the like button, we greatly appreciate. Share this across social media. Hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I upload another video. And if you want to financially support me, you can do so by buying me a coffee or joining me on Patreon. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.